Good morning, everybody. Another day, another set of results from Sunday Creek. And as this deposit tends to do, it surprises on the upside. And I think we're doing that again here, very much so in this release. We're releasing 5 holes from the Rising Sun area. 4 of the holes, which are the key parts of this press release, are from the lowest parts of Rising Sun, the untested parts of Rising Sun. So we're testing Rising Sun deeper from 50 to 150 meter step out, down, dip on these vein structures. And the results are quite staggering. Some of the best results so far on the project. Just before I start talking about some of those results, remembering epizonal systems, which is what Sunday Creek is, which is what Fosterville is, which is what Costerfield is, have a very good component of antimony and high-grade gold in the first, say, 500 meters. As you go deeper, you start to lose the antimony and the gold grade increases even more. That's what the swan zone was at Fosterville, and that's what we're starting to see as we go deeper in Sunday Creek. And these holes that we're reporting here, the deep holes, are very much in that Cinderella zone, in that deeper zone. So that's why we're seeing some incredibly high grades. Very nice to see, of course, because you never know until you drill how something's going to look. Rising Sun's the best part of this system to date, the highest grade part of Sunday Creek. The heart of Sunday Creek is in Rising Sun so far, and that heart, or very high grade, is now continuing down. In terms of some of the results, I mean, they are amazingly impressive. We had 0.3 meters at 1,466 grams per ton gold. That included 0.1 meters at 4,500, one of the better and highest grade intersections on the project to date. But that's only one result of 7 vein sets in that hole 230. We got a meter at 33, 0.6 meters at 52, 1.3 meters at 120.7 grams gold equivalent in this case, which had a little bit more antimony, 0.7% antimony. Some incredibly high grades. And another hole, 231, the next hole hit up to 82 grams over 0.4 meters, 0.4 meters at 24.4 grams, half a meter at 60.4 grams per ton gold equivalent, and so on and so on. This is an incredible system. We're seeing continuity but from drill hole to drill hole. That highest grade that I spoke to first up, the 4,500 grams per ton, was something like 160 meters down from an earlier hole that had hit very high grades, also 3.6 meters at 118 grams per ton in hole 144. So we're seeing continuity, we're seeing expansion, and we're seeing the development of some seriously high grades that Sunday Creek is now so very well known for. We announced a exploration target over the last few weeks, 3 to 4.6 million ounces of gold. It was the range somewhere between 10 and 12 grams gold equivalent, approximately. Please go and see down there the numbers exactly and the disclaimer all around that. But most importantly, as we continue to drill this deposit, we're finding more gold than we can anticipate. And that's not unusual for these high-grade gold systems anywhere, and especially these gold systems. The mines around us typically have 20% of their ounces off book. So what's in a resource to what comes out of a mill is generally 20% more. Now, we don't know that here because we haven't mined it. Sunday Creek hasn't been mined for something like 100 years, something like that, since World War I. But what we can tell is that we're finding more veins the more denser we drill. So we had anticipated a number of veins that would extend through this area, and that's what the exploration target showed. But we found 2 more veins that we hadn't identified earlier. We identified 5 of them, but there was another 2 as we drilled further and started to get more information. So this project continues to grow, not only by volume expansion and grade improving at depth, but also by defining more gold when we drill more. So Sunday Creek has an antimony component, which on a recoverable basis, the in situ value is approximately 80% gold and 20% antimony. As we go deeper, we start to lose that antimony. The metallurgy around these deposits is very simple, and they're all very similar in many ways, especially Sunday Creek and Costerfield from a metallurgical point of view. We have gravity recovery, and we get something like 40 to 50% of our gold so far in recovery by gravity, like shaking a gold pan, but doing it mechanically. And then we get about 30 to 40% of our gold into a float product. A float product means basically that we're bubbling the concentrate, which is very finely ground rock, and onto the bubbles that we put into these containers. The metal sticks to the bubbles, and we remove the bubbles, very much like a beer, and we're moving the head off the beer. And that's a very standard technique used pretty much in every base metal mine, copper, lead, zinc, for example, around the world today. So gravity float, and we get a couple of float products, a very clean and high quality gold antimony product, and then a lesser, about 15% of our gold goes into a pyrite gold concentrate, which is still very marketable, meaning the recoveries, or the payability of the gold, I should say, is expected to be quite high in all three of those products. So very traditional, standard, similar to surrounding mines metallurgy for this deposit. We have 11 drill rigs operating on Sunday Creek at the moment. That will go to 24 rigs when the decline is completed by the end of the year. The decline is now down past 200 meters. We've got 76 holes in the lab waiting for results. So there's always news flow coming from Sunday Creek, and what's happening in the ground can be translated above the ground, I suppose, in us telling the story around the world. So September is overseas for us. So we're going to the Metal Investor Forum in Vancouver later September. Beaver Creek, one of the preeminent shows where the best investors and companies come together out of Denver. And then there's the Denver Gold Forum immediately after that, which is where the larger gold companies globally go. And we're very privileged to be able to join our peers in that environment. So lots happening above and below the ground as Sunday Creek continues to deliver.